Hello and welcome back. This is the next section of LarryBoy and the Sinister Snow Day. It has been a while, so I appreciate you coming to visit. Let's continue this little book. Chapter 16. Follow that villain. Can't catch me, can't catch me. Frostbite taunted Officer Olaf and Chief Croswell. The two police officers tried to grab the villain as he skated around them on his jet skate, but both officers had trouble keeping their balance on the ice. Frostbite came to a stop close to Olaf. Catch me high, the Snow Pea taunted. Officer Olaf grabbed for Frostbite, but the villain zoomed away too quickly. He skated near Croswell. Catch me low, he yelled at the policeman. Croswell reached out, but again Frostbite zoomed off before he could be nabbed. The Snow Pea came to a halt directly in between Olaf and Croswell. Catch me in the middle, he shouted. I've got him, yelled Olaf as he drove for Frostbite. No, I've got him, yelled Croswell, jumping for Frostbite from the opposite direction. Croswell and Olaf almost reached Frostbite at the same time, but the Snow Pea zoomed away at the last second. Bam! Olaf and Croswell smashed into each other. They spun around on the ice, landing in a pile. Much too slow, yelled Frostbite. Laughing, he zoomed away. Look, there goes Frostbite, whispered Junior to Laura, Percy, and Renee. The four of them were at the top of a hill looking down at the streets. LarryBoy was last seen with Iceberg and the Snow Piece, he continued. If we follow him, we might find LarryBoy. Wouldn't that be dangerous? Asked Renee. I'm not so sure about this, said Percy, nervously. I'm with you, Junior, said Laura with a determined look. If we don't want to lose him, we have to go now, Junior said. Junior jumped onto his sled. Swoosh! He sailed down the hill in pursuit of Frostbite. Let's go, Laura yelled as she jumped onto her toboggan. Percy and Renee followed on their snowboards. Whee! Shouted Renee. Shush! Shushed Laura. Sorry, whispered Renee before letting out one last little whee. Chapter 17. Sticky Situation. LarryBoy, can you hear me? Archibald was speaking through the radio in LarryBoy's suit. LarryBoy, can you hear me?
Alfred, is that you?
LarryBoy, I'm having trouble understanding you. Did you stick your tongue to the ice bars again?
He double-dared me,
LarryBoy said. Haven't you learned your lesson about that? You have to stop taking their dares, Archibald told him. Listen, I'm working on a plan to defeat Iceberg. I need you to be patient.
I'll be patient,
LarryBoy mumbled.
Who are you talking to?
Snowflake asked as he came over to the cage.
No one,
said LarryBoy. No one what? Asked Archibald.
I'm not talking to anyone,
said LarryBoy.
Good, 'cause I don't want any trouble from you,
said Snowflake.
Iceberg left me in charge when he and the boys went to town.
They went to town?
Asked LarryBoy. Who went to town? Asked Archibald.
Ivy, I'm busy,
slurred LarryBoy. Oh, sorry, said the butler. I'll call back later.
What did you say?
Said Snowflake.
They went to town?
Repeated LarryBoy.
Yes,
said Snowflake.
To send off a letter to Iceberg's father. He's the Snow King, you know, a very powerful supervillain.
That's okay?
That's right.
Ding dong! They were interrupted as the doorbell to the secret hideout rang.
That's funny,
said Snowflake.
My pizza shouldn't be here for another half an hour.
Snowflake left the room to answer the door.
Psst, LarryBoy.
Junior and Laura snuck out from behind the door.
Hello, Junior and Laura,
said LarryBoy.
How'd you get here?
We snuck back. I'm going to leave it in there. I'm going to leave it. We snuck in the back. Renee and Percy are distracting Snowflake at the front door, said Laura. We don't have much time. We have to get you out of here.
Then stop,
said LarryBoy.
I've got just the thing.
Said Junior.
We can use the hot chocolate I brought for a snack.
The small asparagus opened a thermos and poured some of the hot chocolate onto LarryBoy's tongue. The superhero pulled himself free.
Thanks,
He said.
freedom tastes good. And now the lock.
Said Junior. He poured the remaining cocoa on the lock of the ice cage. The lock melted, and LarryBoy hopped out of the cage.
What are you kids doing in here?
Asked the superhero. We had to help, said Laura. This is all our fault. We kids helped Iceberg turn Bumbleberg into an ice world.
Why would you do that?
LarryBoy asked.
We wanted a snow day, so we wouldn't have to go to school.
Said Junior.
But we've learned our lesson.
Yeah, we actually missed school, admitted Laura. Some of it, anyway.
Really?
Asked LarryBoy.
Yeah,
Said Junior.
my dad was right. When you stop learning, you stop growing. Hey,
Said LarryBoy.
that reminds me of something my teacher at school talked about. The Snow King.
Who's the Snow King? The kids asked in unison.
He was a supervillain that Bok Choy defeated, and he's Iceberg's dad. Really?
Asked Junior.
Bok Choy told us how he defeated the Snow King. Maybe we can defeat Iceberg in the same way.
What did your teacher say? Asked Laura.
He said,
Stammered Larry.
I don't know what he said. I wasn't paying attention. Let's find Bok Choy and ask him,
Said Junior.
Good idea,
Said LarryBoy.
Quick,
Said Laura.
let's go out the back way before Snowflake returns.
The trio quickly raced out back, and not a moment too soon, Snowflake walked into the room carrying a small box.
Guess what?
He said.
That wasn't my pizza at all, but I did manage to buy a box of Veggie Scout cookies. Do you like thick mints?
Snowflake looked at the empty cage.
Oh no! LarryBoy is gone!
Snowflake looked around the room.
That can mean only one thing.
He said.
More cookies for me.
Chapter 18. Back to School. And that is why, class, we need to be humble heroes, Bok Choy lectured a young group of superheroes. Unlike the Bumbleberg Elementary School, the superhero college was still in session. Suddenly, the door burst open, and LarryBoy hopped in.
Emergency, Professor Choy,
Yelled LarryBoy. Speaking of humble heroes, Bok Choy said calmly, class, let me introduce you to LarryBoy. Hello, Mr. LarryBoy, recited the class in unison. Now then, said Bok Choy, what is your emergency?
Iceberg has turned all of Bumbleberg into ice, said LarryBoy. We must stop him.
And why are you telling me? Asked the teacher.
Well,
Said LarryBoy.
the Snow King is Iceberg's father, and since you defeated the Snow King, I thought you might be able to tell me how I could defeat the iceberg.
I see, said Bok Choy. You want me to teach you about the Snow King?
Sure,
Said the superhero. Wasn't my last lecture all about the Snow King? Stuttered the cucumber.
Yeah, but
But you weren't paying attention, frowned Bok Choy. Maybe this time you will. Bok Choy went to the front of the room. He drew on the chalkboard for a moment. When he stepped back, he showed the class a complex diagram. Now then, he said, when the Snow King tried to turn Bumbleberg into a frozen wasteland, he used a quack. Bok Choy pointed to a box on the board.
a quack?
Asked LarryBoy.
Quick, what's a quack?
A king-sized winterizing auto-compression calvinator. It's a large freezing machine.
Got it,
Said LarryBoy.
Are we done?
Not hardly, said his teacher. The KWACK was connected to 100 different mini hoo-ahs, which he had installed in the sewer system.
Mini ha-ha?
Mini hoo-ah, the Bok Choy responded. Miniature heat oscillating obfuscating hydrofreon accelerator.
Oh,
said LarryBoy.
one of those. I'm running out of time. Can you just tell me how to stop Iceberg?
I'm teaching you about Iceberg's methods, said the wise professor. It is through learning that you will find the solution.
But it's not time for my class,
said LarryBoy.
Can't we just jump to the answer?
Learning requires much more than simply obtaining answers, said Bok Choy. It is also about wisdom, whether you are in the classroom or in life. Whether you are young or old, when you stop learning, you stop growing. LarryBoy, can you tell me what the superhero handbook says in section 20, paragraph 9, subsection 9? LarryBoy shrugged his shoulders. Bok Choy turned to the students in his classroom. Class, he had asked. The students all spoke in unison. Instruct a wise man, and he will be wiser still. Teach a righteous man, and he will add to his learning, they chanted. That's right, said the teacher. LarryBoy, listen, learn, and grow. It's all part of becoming wiser. Bok Choy turned back to the diagram on the chalkboard. Now then, where was I? He asked. Ah, yes, Snow King had each of these mini Huas wired to the KWACK machine, and when the KWACK was turned on, it pumped out compressed FRISBEES to each mini Hua. FRISBEES was Snow King's special creation, a super freezing liquid called Freon Reactivated Ionizing Sodium Bicarbonate Energy Evaporation Solution. Understand?
Understand what?
Asked LarryBoy, looking up in surprise.
Yeah, Huas, Frisbees, cold.
Right.
So how did you stop the Snow King? The cucumber asked.
Simple, said Bok Choy. I turned off the KWACK.
Simple,
said LarryBoy. After a pause, LarryBoy asked sheepishly,
Where do I find the KWACK again?
Bok Choy sighed. It takes tremendous power to make all the machines work, said Bok Choy. Such power will give off readings in the energy spectrograph. Simply find a large energy drain. That should lead you to the KWACK machine.
Got it.
LarryBoy hopped out of the room. Seconds later, he popped his head back in.
And thanks. This whole learning thing seems like a pretty good idea,
he admitted. Then he was gone. Chapter 19, A New Larry Toy. LarryBoy hurried out into the school parking lot. Junior, Laura, Percy, and Renee were waiting for him.
Hey, kids,
LarryBoy yelled.
I figured out what we need to do. LarryBoy, look at this,
Junior shouted. LarryBoy looked out into the parking lot where Archibald, his butler, stood among the kids.
Hey, Archie, what are you doing here?
In answer, Archie simply pointed. There sat the Larrymobile. But not the usual Larrymobile. Instead, it was the Larry Snowmobile. The car had been converted to a snowmobile, with treads in place of the back wheels and skis up front.
Cool,
said LarryBoy, his eyes sparkling. I thought this might help, said Archie. I also have a new uniform for you. Archibald brandished a snowsuit version of the LarryBoy costume. It's insulated to keep you warm, and it has traction grips to keep you from falling on the ice.
Nifty. Thanks,
said LarryBoy said. He grabbed the new suit and jumped inside it. Wait, said Archibald. There are a few more features.
I don't have time to learn about new features,
said LarryBoy, his face set in determination. You don't have time to learn? Archibald cocked his eyebrow. Where have I heard that before?
I have to quickly find Iceberg's quack doodad and the frisbee juice so I can turn it off,
explained the cucumber.
Quack doodad?
Asked Junior. Frisbee juice? Questioned Laura. The kids leaned forward in excitement.
Yep, said the superhero. Bok Choy said that the quack thingy uses a lot of energy, and that energy drain should show up on an energy spectacle something.
Did you mean an energy spectrograph? Asked Archibald.
Yeah, that's exactly right,
said LarryBoy with surprise. I have one of those in the Larry Cave, said the butler.
Great, then off we go to the Larry Cave. I'm out of here.
LarryBoy revved up the Larry snowmobile and zoomed off. LarryBoy, wait! Cried Archibald, but it was too late. LarryBoy was gone. Oh my!
Let's follow him,
said Junior.
He still might need our help.
The other kids agreed.
Say, Mr.
Say, Master Junior, asked Archibald.
Yes, sir?
I don't suppose you could give me a lift?
Sure, hop on,
The youngster said. Archibald slipped onto the back of Junior's sled, and they slid off down the hill. That's it for now. Tune in next time. We'll try to finish this book out and find out if LarryBoy can stop everybody. Save the day. You know, like he does. See you next time.